This is your Mountain View News.
I'm Army Sergeant Sam Dillon, and welcome to this month's edition of the Mountain View News. Coming up, I'll introduce you to a soldier that honors the fallen by immortalizing them as works of art. And a pair of musicians meet up thousands of miles from home to play bluegrass in the desert. Now I'll introduce you to a battlefield artist, Corporal Poto Leafy. He is a graphic illustrator with a passion to always remember his fellow fallen comrades. Here is his story.
I wanted some patriotic posters for my home. Went online, the selection was limited. I decided that maybe to make a patriotic series of posters, and it morphed into putting a fallen soldier on one of the vintage pieces, and the artwork just came to life. Bukowski's poster, his mother went to one of the Gold Star meetings, and they usually bring a lot of the artwork that's been created then by different artists or photographs or things that represent their family members. From his poster came Specialist Coon's poster. So Specialist Coon's mother saw Bukowski's poster. Then when Nay's mother, his mother saw the artwork, and she's requested a poster for him. So it's word of mouth, it's going from family to family. When the family calls up, they select photographs. They send over a bio telling me about their hero. They'll send over photographs, and then we'll choose from the photographs the ones that best fit them. Ultimately, we decided that this photograph here was the best photo to use. We treated brought out all the detail into the photograph. Take the photograph and begin to illustrate. It's actually done by drawing one piece at a time. Start off with the eye whites. We'll put in his neck. Start with the pupils. Then we have the shadows that go over the eyes, face foundation. You can see how much work goes into it. Start with the teeth, foundation of his mouth, the nose base, nose detail. Put in some hair, give him a high and tight, the shadow for his cap. Put his cap there, and I believe the shadowing. And there's Dale Castleberry. It's almost like with the poster behind me, there's so much energy in it that it's a matter of where I'm daring you, to ignore. And that is something that I try to do with all the artwork, and that's what their families love, especially when people begin to email and purchase pieces, and they want people to remember their stories. And the artwork actually creates a great platform for them to be remembered that way. It looks like part of history, and it is part of history.
Next, we will meet two musicians that traveled halfway across the world to learn that their love for music would eventually bring them together.
I play fiddle, piano, and guitar, but my first instrument was the piano. When I was 10, I started with some, like every kid's having piano lessons for maybe 10 years. My dad kind of pushed me in music. My dad plays a fiddle, very good fiddler. Then my dad was practicing one night the fiddle. I wanted to learn this song, so I was 17 years old, and I picked up the fiddle and I tried to play, and I learned the song right on the spot.
I started playing when I was about 14. I was hanging out at a gas station, nothing to do, and a guy with a big beard and a motorcycle pulled up with a banjo on the back, and I said, "What's that?" And he said, "It's a banjo," and I said, "I'd like to learn the banjo." And like Paul, since I come from a pretty musical family, my dad's a musician, always singing and playing the guitar. Brothers and sisters are always singing, and the only instrument left was the banjo. I started out in a band. I actually joined the Army to play the banjo in the Army band, and that was in 1980. And that didn't quite work out the way I wanted it to. Ended up being a field artilleryman, and but again, once you start, if you love music, you don't just leave it, and it just goes with you. So on all my deployments, any opportunity I've had, I've always taken an instrument along.
I met Colonel Sims in Fort Drum, New York. We were, Canadians contingent was there for about a month for the exercise mountain in Davie that was in June. We had a barbecue organized by the Canadians to invite the Americans. When I got there, somebody told me there's a colonel here that plays the banjo and he's a really good player, and maybe you guys play a song. So, and I started to play the fiddle by myself, and Colonel Sims joined me on the banjo, and it was just like a perfect match of sounds and personality and ear.
It's intense, the work's intense and very important, and you got to be able to sharpen the axe, and you got to be able to come into it with a clear mind and fresh. And so for some people it's going for a run, for other people it's reading a book. You know, for Paul and I think it's picking some music together.
When I play music, I think about nothing else than just play the song to its best of what I can play, or try to show respect to the song basically. So all this focus goes on the instruments, and it basically, I don't know if it's you the same for sir, but for me I just forget what about this war and conflicts.
Tried to pass that on to my kids. All my kids are musicians. They either sing or play musical instruments or dance. And then my wife Teresa's our favorite fan, so it just helps kind of pass that tradition on from one generation to another. So it's important.
Good.
That's better this time.
That's it for this edition of the Mountain View News. I'm Army Sergeant Sam Dillon, and thanks for watching.